In the past half a year or so, I have gotten into the habit of constantly checking the weather, and especially checking what the weather would look like around sunrise. And whenever I see that there are conditions for fog, so higher humidity, low wind, if possible not too cold, because I'm not a huge fan of the cold. So whenever all these things align, I set the alarm really early and go out into the fields to explore, because I've realized it's such an amazing world out there so early in the morning. It's really quiet, there are almost no people, and everything is just so much more beautiful than at any other time during the day. I don't always get it right, and there isn't always a fog, but it's my absolute favorite when there is, because it just looks so magical and mystical. Well, this was an awe-inspiring experience. It was like an explosion of birds right behind me. I don't know if I've ever seen so many. They really scared me. So one of my alarms just went off, because normally I'm still in bed. And typically I snooze and sleep for another hour or so. But today I got up 15 to 6 or something like that, and it was nice to do that once in a while. But I'll probably be sleepy all day, and it looks like it's gonna be a very sleepy day, but thankfully I have very calm tasks to deal with. Still working on that website. It's taking forever, they always do. Yeah, I was hoping for something a bit more amazing this morning, but I will take this. I'll take peace and calm any day. For our way back, I think we are going to take the path through the forest, because I would like to pay it a visit again and see if there are any signs of spring there. Today I'm working on my new website, and I thought I'd share that with you because it's lonely and it's boring. So, what is my new website? Well, it's actually not a new website, it's the website I've always had for the past 12 years or something. Well, the domain, I mean, the site has changed many times. It used to be my portfolio website when I was most focused on working with clients, but now that my main thing is my web shop, I decided that it just makes sense to put the focus on the shop. So back in January, I started completely redesigning the site from a portfolio site to a web shop with a portfolio section. And it's been long and I'm quite over it, and I've started to procrastinate a lot, which is why it's going so slow. But I feel like now I'm close to finishing it, at least the web shop part. There's still a lot to do on the portfolio, and I kind of want to revive the blog section as well, but it's not my main focus at the moment. First, I want to have the web shop up and running, and the rest I feel like it can wait, it can develop in the background over time. So last week I finally managed to set up the payment system and to do some tests. This was the part that I was the most stressed out about, and it looks like it's working. At least it is in test mode. I will also try it with a real credit card probably at some point this week. I will probably fake buy something from myself. Well, it won't be fake because it will be a real transaction, but it's gonna be just me buying from myself to see how it works. But anyway, today what I want to work on is the review system. I want to make it so that a certain time after someone has bought something, they get an email invitation to review the product, and I have to set all that up. By the way, if you want to know what I'm using, it's WordPress, which is free open source platform. I'm using the Elementor plugin, which has some functionality for free, but I am using the paid version because I need something a bit more complex, and it's not that expensive and it's fairly user-friendly, and that's what I need because I don't know any coding. So I want something kind of drag and drop, but that is cheaper than the more well-known options that you hear a lot about when you watch videos on YouTube. So yeah, I also use the Elementor theme, which is free. I'm using a whole bunch of plugins that I don't know off the top of my head, and I probably am using way too many plugins. I feel like the website has started to be slow, which is a problem, but I don't want to think about that right now. So yeah, today I want to figure out the review system, and if I have any time left, which I doubt, I would like to work a bit on the header image, or the first image that you're gonna see when you come to the website. That's a pretty important place. I still can't make up my mind whether I want that to be a photograph with some kind of lifestyle arrangement of my products, or if I want to make an illustration. Of course, I'm more drawn to making an illustration, but I also feel like it probably makes more sense to show a photo so people can see the real product. I don't really know. What do you think? I think I might go with the illustration for the time being, and I might also later switch it on with a photograph and just test a bunch of different versions. I think that's probably the best, just try a lot of things and see what works. So yeah, is there anything else? Well, it's nice to see the huge to-do list that I've done for this website kind of start to shrink a little bit, but there's still quite a bit in here. But yeah, for today we're focusing on the reviews and reviews to review. Anyway, and possibly the header. So yeah, well, that's quite a lot. Working. So at this point I've been working on setting up the reviews functionality for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm already running into issues. And that's what keeps happening with this site. It's like you solve one problem and you discover 2-3 more. So now the plugin reminds me, which is good, I guess, that I have to add to my terms and conditions that the customers have to give consent for having these reminders sent to them, having their email used in this way. They have to opt in, all of that stuff, which is fine. It's just, it makes me so anxious, all these GDPR rules about cookies, consent, and how you handle the personal data of the visitors of the website, even if they're not customers, even if they just happen to land on the website. And I think these rules are important. I think it's good that they're in place. I'm just so anxious whether I'm doing it right, whether I'm really handling this very important stuff correctly. And all these plugins and stuff, they are third parties built by people who hopefully know what they're doing, and they are, I don't know if I have to trust them that they're handling all this data correctly. And I am constantly updating the terms and conditions the way I understand they should be done. And I don't know, it's just a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress with all these things. I just wish I can know that I am doing it right. And there is no way of knowing because I'm not an expert in all this. And that's why it's so much easier to use sites like Etsy. But at the same time, there's a lot of drawbacks with using sites like Etsy. So we have to power through the anxiety. And yeah, it's just like doing my taxes. It's like, I'm just so worried that I'm going to get it wrong and it's going to lead to something bad, like a huge fine or like some kind of, I don't even know. And the thing is, you can't be expert in everything. You can try your best, but if you do get it wrong, I don't think trying your best, I don't think the fact that you've tried your best would matter if things get serious. But yeah, it's just thought I share with you what it's like building your own site from scratch. Well, it's not really from scratch. I'm using a ton of help with plugins and themes and all that. But yeah. So I set up the review system. I made a bunch of purchases, which weren't really real purchases. And I left a bunch of reviews that are totally and entirely fake, just to test the system, of course. By the way, I totally forgot to say this, but of course I'm going to delete all these fake reviews from the site before it goes live. Don't worry about that. Well, if you trust me. And the system is working and everything is looking great with that part of the website so far. Hopefully, for now, until we find the next issue, because there's always a next issue. But anyway, as you might be able to tell, it's a completely different day in a completely different week. Don't ask. And today I think we are going to tackle the second thing I talked about earlier, which is the header on the homepage. I currently have one which I'm pretty happy with, so we're going to make something similar, but we're going to tailor it to the website so that the welcome text that I'm going to put over the header image, I don't even know if this is a header, it's not a header, you know what I mean. What was I saying? We're going to adjust it in a way that the text is more readable, because right now it's not, because the background image is too busy. So we're going to rearrange the elements of the background image so that the text is more readable. And I kind of want to add a bit of animation effect. It won't be really animation, but it's going to look like it's an animation. But you know what, you'll see. Well, hopefully it's going to work out the way I see it in my head. So basically I want to make a couple of images that are identical, but there will be small parts of them that will be changing, and these images will be set as a carousel, but there won't be any animation to the carousel, so the way they will be changing is going to look like the background is animated, but it won't really be animated. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense in my head. I hope I can make it make sense on the website. And hopefully with that we'll be done today. We don't have much time today, so that might bleed into tomorrow. Yeah, so we better start. And the welcome image is done, and it works exactly how I wanted it to. Well, with one small hiccup. When the images change, you can see a little flicker, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but I also don't mind it so much. It's barely noticeable, and I know why it's happening, but I don't know how to make it not happen, so it's fine. I think it's fine. I also managed to do the contact page, which is nothing special at all. And there are a few more little things to do before I can open the website. Again, it will be only part of the website. Some parts will remain closed for a while because I still need to work on them, but I don't want to keep it closed entirely while I'm working on those parts, so I think it's fine. And the plan is that by the time this video goes up, the portion of the site that it's supposed to be open will be open, so if you want to see for yourself what I've been working on, you're very welcome to visit. Find the link in the description. And with that, I think this video has been long enough. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time when I'm not entirely sure what we'll be doing. There are several possibilities, but we'll find out together. Yeah.